Hello, hello, hello. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to my channel. And, I just want to say thank you to all of you for those of you that have commented. I do really appreciate that. And I'm super, super excited because I also want to say thank you to the subscribers here that have subscribed to this channel, because I really want to be able to help as many people all at the same time to really elevate and lift and build their CEO muscles, because only you can do this. And I want to try and help you to get stronger in your business, because when you are faced with battles, which you will be faced with battles, with issues in your business, with challenges, we got to overcome it. You can't let that stop you, because otherwise you're giving up on your dreams, something that you've had inside of your heart and soul. And it does come from within. That strength comes from within. And the business that you've decided to go down and to do, it's something that's come from within, and you resonate with it. That's when it's going to be something remarkable. That's when you're going to build world-class service. That's when you're going to become elite, because you are building something that is strong and that you show up every single day, no matter what happens. And yes, of course, there's going to be times where you can't show up because of illness, or because of a tragedy, because of a loss. And that's another video in itself. What do you do under those circumstances? And I'll talk to you about a bit about my reason of why I'm here today. Is because 35 years ago I had a dream. Me and my husband had a dream to be able to coach people in healthcare businesses, and in order for that to happen, I needed to undergo transformation within that type of business to see the worst case scenarios that happen and how we should deal with it. Now, back then I was young. I didn't deal with things properly because I was young. I was like, whoa, this is too much. I don't know how to deal with this. I had a coach from the REC, and that was back in 2001, for example. So it's quite a while ago. But I actually ended up teaching that coach, and that coach came to work for me in my business because I was the one getting all the contracts, etc. Now, I want to talk about that. When we are applying for contracts and you've been approved on a DPS, for example, or you've been approved to provide a contract, no bid writing company or contracting service can say it's going to, even though it gives you like the start date, for example, of when this contract starts, it doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to be calling you on day one. They've got certain levels of tiers, for example, tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, tier 4, tier 5, tier 6, you might even be tier 7. So as they go through these tiers, like the 7s, right, they go to the first one first, second one will be second because the first one can't cover, so they go to the second one. Then if the second one can't cover, then they're going to go to the third person. Then if the third person can't cover, then they'll go to the fourth person, and then if the fifth person can't cover, they'll go to the fifth, and so on and so forth. So we've got to look at doing multiple contracts, for example, and not just rely on one. Like with me, when I had my agency, I had multiple contracts. However, they was with the same entity, that was the government. And sometimes the government has to make cutbacks, and I understand that now, but back then I didn't. So when you've been used to getting a certain level, and then suddenly you're cut by half, it can impact you greatly. So this CEO training that I'm doing it, one egg, for example, eggs in a basket, because if that basket drops, all your eggs break, for example. So think about how you've got a goal. Like I had a goal to become a coach, but I did healthcare businesses for 20. Some of them were good and some of them failed. I'll admit that. And some of them were sole traders, some of them was limited company where I was registered on Companies House. And for me, because my goal was to be a coach, to help people to help themselves, to help people to learn how to build a business that is going to make them stronger, for example. So today is day 16 of the 30-day CEO Elite Performer Challenge. And today we are discussing CEO goal setting. So what is it that you need to do to set goals within your company? Because you've got to have these pillars, these strengths that's going to help you when things get challenging and that you overcome it. I'll give you an example today. I've been speaking with my clients because I needed to call them because of a situation that happened, and I called them, and I'm so grateful to them. I connected with them because when you're in a business, it's important to connect with them, not your staff connecting with them. You, the CEO, needs to connect with them. And I kind of, step back a bit because I had all the team members doing things, for example. But I realized today that it's me, the CEO, that they need to speak to as well. And most of the time they would prefer that, but it depends how many clients you've got. You can't do that if you've got like thousands of clients and you're looking after them all at the same time. But I wanted to say, because there seems to be a misconception that when you get a contract, that contract you're expecting it to start straight away, and that doesn't always happen. Sometimes you got to wait until they call you, until that person, that agency or that care business is backed out. Then they're going to pull on you. You're the next one in line. So it works in a tier format, and it works in a stepping stone, for example. So as the CEO, you've also got to be patient. As they say, patience is a virtue. So I just wanted to mention that CEOs, keep in touch with your clients, call them, talk to them, see what's happening, because they will tell you whether they're happy or not. I'm not a guru, and I'm not saying that I am. I do things wrong. We all do things wrong. We make mistakes, but we've got to also look at what it is we can do as the CEO to make your business grow really, really strong. And that is customer service. And I believe that's been lacking from my company lately, is customer service. So we've introduced that as well. So today is day 16 of the 30-day CEO Elite Performer Challenge, and it's all about goal setting. Before I continue, I'd love for you to click here, like and subscribe, and to get further updates so that we can keep you informed with future trainings. We've got a wonderful membership that is starting at $2.99 per month, for example. And I'm going to be introducing more memberships this week, but also we've got our podcast that's going to be starting, I believe, in at the end of December. Don't quote me on that, but it is starting. It's called Living Beyond the Horizon, and this is where we're going to be speaking business leaders like yourself, talking to them, seeing what their challenges are, seeing what their struggles are, to really get you to communicate. It's going to be a community of oneness, because we all want to feel wholeness, right? We want to feel good. We want to feel good within our business, and we want to be able to work really hard on our business, but also at the same time take some time off so that you can enjoy time with family and friends. Although you're doing this goal setting, I still say that you need to make sure that you are able to implement this, but at the same time to just sit back and just have a thought process. Just breathe slowly and just think about what your goals are for your company. Because my goals that I set 35 years ago is totally different from today. I didn't even think about that I would be, leaping from the UK to Cyprus. Even though 15 years I had a vision, and I would always dream about being in Cyprus. I used to watch the program, location, 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 and I loved it, and I wanted to be in Cyprus with my family, and I'm very grateful that I'm able to be here in Cyprus, to work online, because we're now in this world where everything is online and we can be at home. We don't have to be rushing, driving for 2 hours to go to the office. We can do it from home. Okay, so welcome to this is day 16 already. Time flies. So what I also want to say is to just say thank you. You could just hit the like and subscribe button as well. So let's get started with the presentation here. I'm just going to start this here. So like I said, check out our membership as well. That starts at £2.99, and I'm going to have different level memberships because I want to be able to reach everyone, for example, but also everyone together, not just one-on-one. Even though I do have one-on-one clients, I do have packages where it's one-on-one, but I do like doing the one-to-many. That is my favorite, for example, because I like to see the transformation from my clients putting the work in and working with me to achieve their goals, because that is a good sense of achievement. So day 16, we're going to be focusing on the essential processes of goal setting for you. So a structured approach in defining what your priorities are, and also planning that. You really got to have that drive in your business to move it forward. So you want to be setting goals that are achievable, and goals is crucial. These goals are crucial for strategic growth. In order to grow, you've got to have goals, otherwise you're just wandering around aimlessly and you're not doing the right things to grow your business, for example. So staying aligned with your company's vision. So it's important to have a vision, just sit back and just think, where do I want to be in 10 years time in this business? How do I see me, the CEO, as my future self in my business? Now, it could be that you want to be international, because there's no reason why you can't do that now, for example. Or you may want to be national, or you may want to be a local place for your community, for example. Or you may want to have multiple locations that you operate, for example. So get your journal out, everyone, and start making some notes here, because you're going to need to take notes as well. So the structure of achieving your goals, you want to identify what your short-term and your long-term goals are that are aligned with your company's vision and growth. Now, for me, I've got a vision and I've met my 10-year vision, for example, and I'm now working on my vision beyond my vision, i.e. to leave a legacy, charities, for example, to really help my community where I am as well, to do more memberships so that there's a continuous income stream, but also there's a multiple learning levels, so there'll be different levels for my clients, for example, at what stage they are in their business. And that's why, I've created this CEO and the Build Your Muscles and the CEO Elite Performance Strategy programs, for example, and the membership, as well as the Vault, as well as the podcast, because I want to be able to really help the service users, not the service users, the clients, the businesses that deliver to the service users, but also there's businesses as well that I want to be able to help. I don't want to just specialize in healthcare, because I've done multiple businesses. I haven't just done healthcare. A lot of people just know me for healthcare, but I've done drop shipping on Amazon, I've done eBay, I've made my own products. I had a washing machine shop, which is white goods, which is, if any of you know, you'll know this, which we used to do fridge freezers, washing machines, cookers, and we used to just deliver them around Nottingham. Yeah. We did properties, we did HMO properties, so I know about property. The property market got me into care, for example. I've done clothes where I was doing party plans. You remember years ago, you'd go around to someone's house, you'd bring your items that you're selling, people would buy from you, for example. I've been on, like Navy and Army barracks, for example, selling products to the wives, for example. I've done children's clothes. I've been on markets. I used to sell on markets many years ago. So I've done a lot of things, and I'm going to be introducing these things as well, because care providers as well as business owners, they want to know about different business types. You may want to do multiple streams of income, but not the same industry. You may want to do, different industries, so that you're not putting your eggs all into one basket. Now, that's something that you can do. I used to make candles, I used to make bath bombs, I used to do lip balms, I used to make my own creams, for example. You'll see here in my YouTube channel, on my playlist, there's a thing called Mama DNA, because that is something that I want to be able to do. I want to be able to, because I enjoy doing and making things, I really do enjoy it, as well as what I do now, coaching, for example. So break down your goals into actionable steps and transform the broad goals into manageable goals and tasks. Set the clear timelines as well, and also hold yourself accountable, or you can get an accountability partner. You want to be able to set key performance indicators as well, KPIs. This determines the measurable targets that help track progress, ensuring that each goal is tangible and results driven as well. Because if we don't measure, then we're not seeing how things are growing. And sometimes you can get distracted, because I've been there myself, where I've been distracted, for example. But you need to really be keeping your eye on the ball. That is your role as the CEO, to know where your business is at, so that you don't get taken advantage of, for example, or you don't see, you will see if something isn't working, and why is it not working? What is the cause? What's the root cause of it? So review and adjust your goal on a regular basis. This will establish you to have a routine for evaluating your progress. Celebrate your wins. Just, even if it's just going for a coffee. That's what I do. I just go for a coffee, just go for a walk, go for a coffee. Just sit there so you can think, and you get yourself out of your office. Like, this is my office here. You get yourself out of your office and you're away from computers, you're away from mobile, distractions, for example, digital distractions, and you can get away and think clearly. And then you're going to be really, it just gives you clarity, it gives you focus as well, and it helps you to be more productive. People think, because they see someone sitting having a coffee, that they're not doing anything, but really they're clearing their mind. They're clearing their mind so they can listen to any messages that are coming in, that they can then implement into their business. So the next thing that I want to talk to you about is, although we're doing the key objectives, we also need to look at how we can set SMART goals. And I know we all know about this SMART goals, for example. You want to use the SMART criteria to ensure that each goal is specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. So that's the SMART formula. And we all know this already, for example, because we hear it all the time. When you're at college, or you hear it at work, for example. It's something that we all are familiar with, for example. So what I also want to do is to break down goals. I want you to divide the goal into actionable steps. For example, you want to be able to just get a notepad and paper, everyone, first of all. Get your notepad open, okay? And I want you to, whilst you're listening to me, I want you to get your notepad and pen. I'm going to give you a minute to do that. I'm going to have my tea here. Whilst you go and grab yourself a notepad and pen. Excellent. So you should have your notepad and pen now. So if the goal is for you to increase your client acquisition by 20%, then you need to break down into monthly or quarterly, then into tasks like improving marketing strategies, client outreach, lead generation efforts, for example. So 20% would be that, for example, if you're doing 100,000 a year, then you would be looking at, for example, I'm going to do an additional 25,000 a year. So the turnover then increases to 125,000. Then if you was to divide that into quarterly goals, for example, so get your calculator out. So then your quarterly goal would be 31,250, for example. Okay, so that's your goal, as a 20% increase every quarter that you're going to increase by, in order to reach that target, for example. So the next thing that I want you to also think about is, what is it that you, milestone wise, is this going to be done over a 12-month period, for example? Is this going to be, 1 year? What's going to happen in 3 years, for example? And then what is going to happen in 5 years? And then what is going to happen in 10 years? So you want to be able to break that down with the increase as well. Schedule regular reviews. You want to mark dates for quarterly reviews to assess your company's progress. Celebrate your achievements. You've got to do that, because if you don't, then how are you going to appreciate when something is good? Because that builds on when something happens amazingly, you're going to be like, ooh, through the roof, for example. So it will evolve as a business grows and as an external factor. So you want to ensure that your goal isn't static. You want it to keep moving with you and growing with you and your goal. So your goal really is your future self, and you're doing things now as your future self would do in order to get to that level. Are you with me? I hope you are. I hope I haven't lost you with what I've just said. But your goal is your future self. So how do you reach that future self is by you becoming that future self now and working on it now. And then as you're meeting those targets, you're then getting closer to eventually you've met your goal. And that's when you will then create another goal. But usually, once you get into the CEO habit, you've already created that goal, because you will be looking at what your vision is now, for example, but what is your vision beyond your vision when you've met that vision? Because when you get to that level, it's like when you climb a mountain, for example, you see more mountains that you've got to climb. So it's life. This is life. This is about us growing and developing as we're meant to be. We're meant to grow. We're meant to go through struggles. We're meant to go through challenges. We're meant to go through hardship. Not saying that, that it's okay for that to happen, but I see them as an opportunity for growth. I see them as a learning curve. I see them as, how can I grow from this? There's something here for me to learn from, for example, and how can I grow and develop from this? And this will help me improve what I'm offering as well, so that it helps me with my learning, for example. I hope I'm making sense to you, CEOs. So, like I said, schedule regular reviews. Then you want to do accountability and support. So, whether you get a team member that can support you in this as an accountability, or a mentor like myself, coach, for example, who can help hold you accountable. That's what my goal is in my heart, is to hold you accountable. Because to achieve greatness, you've got to be accountable to yourself, because only you can achieve that. It's inside of you. And you've got to believe in yourself in order to get to that level. And you will. It just takes time. These things work on compound. Not everybody, just boom, gets things instantly. It's not a get-rich-quick scheme. It is something that you have to build, because you are learning at the moment if you're just starting out, or maybe you have started out and you're growing to the next level. You want to, for example, if you've got a care agency, for example, you want to get another branch, for example, you want to open up another care agency, then you need to find yourself an accountability partner. Check in with your peers, for example, or even journal in a log for tracking your actions and insights that can reinforce you. I write in my journal every day. every day is when I write in my journal. I'm just trying to show you my journal without. I write in my journal in the morning, and I write in my journal in the evening. So in the first thing in the morning, for example, look, it covers my face. So I write in the morning in my journal, do gratitude as well. I also write in the evening, but I also write what goals I've got to do today. I write what goals I've got to do for the week on a Sunday. I sit down and I write out what I've got to do for the week, as well as scheduling the appointments that looking at the appointments that I've got as well. So it's important to do that as well. So accountability and support is important, for example. Then the next thing is that we need to, just check in with your colleagues, for example. Just make sure things are running smoothly. You want to also do daily reflection. So what insights did you gain from goal setting? Was this impactful for you? Will it work for you in the long run? Yes, it will, because you've written it, for example. Or maybe it doesn't. You may need to pivot, or you may need to change it slightly, for example. What immediate action steps can you take? So I want you to write at least 2 to 3 action steps that you'll take to implement this today in your role as a CEO. So what barriers do you have and goal achievements? So what barriers to goal achievements? What challenges might you face in achieving that goal? And how can you put forward and plan to overcome them? You want to celebrate your small wins. Like I said, what smaller achievements can also be celebrated as you work towards your bigger picture. And we all talk about that, don't you? You hear this word, it's the big picture or the bigger picture. Okay. So goal setting as a CEO isn't just about envisioning the future, it's about creating a roadmap. So you're creating a roadmap of, right, okay, I'm starting here, and you move along the road to get to your destination. And there's points there. So number 1, 2, and you eventually you will get there. But you need to create the map. You need to create the roadmap. And I'll go into that a bit more as well. So this sets goals, for example, goal setting, ensuring that your actions align with the long-term success of your business, helping you to prioritize, act precisely, and lead with clarity as well. Lead with clarity. So the next part of this is that you've got pen and paper. I want to see you with your goals. What goals do you have, or what do you have set? And what I'd like for you to do is the CEO goal mapping exercise. And I'm going to go through this with you as well. And you're going to work on this over the next couple of days, for example, depending on how much time you've got. So your overview is, what I want is for you to give yourself 5 days to create your goal, your goals. Your objective is to create a clear, actionable goal map that aligns with your business vision and personal values as a CEO. So what are your personal values as a CEO? What are the challenges that you face as a CEO? What else is there that you can think of? But what goals is it that you want to achieve? Because sometimes you'll see a goal, but there will be some obstacles. So it's good to look at what those obstacles are, so that when you're faced with it, you can just flick it to the side and carry on with your goal. So the next thing that I'd like to also mention is that it would be good for you to do goal mapping steps. So day one, what you could be doing is you could be defining the clarity. So you want to have vision clarity. So you want to You want to define your big picture vision. Write a brief outlining. Just bring that up a bit. Outlining where you see your business in years 1, 3, 5, and consider each for growth. You want to impact the company's culture. So you want to be a part of this company, be a part of this family. You don't use that word enough. See, you want to set the top 3 priorities. The first one, for example, is, I'll just show you this. So the first one is you write a statement and you outline where you see your business in 1, 2, 3, 5 years. So consider, like I said, areas such as growth, impact, and company culture. Set your top 3 priorities, list the top 3 priorities that will lead your vision towards you. These should be broad, impactful areas and revenue growth, employee development, and customer satisfaction. So identify the obstacles, think about potential roadblocks for each priority, write them down, and this is going to help you to provide a solution to managing those challenges as well. Hope you're enjoying this. Like and subscribe here. So I want you to also to think about this. I hope you got your notepad and paper, because this is going to take some briefing exercise, for example. So goal mapping is good as well. So goal setting as a CEO isn't just about you envisioning your future. Couldn't say that right, tongue twister. It's about creating a roadmap to make that vision a reality. So in today's day 16, for example, you want to focus on getting and setting your goals to ensure that your actions align with that long-term success of your business, helping you to prioritize, act decisively, to act precisely, should I say, and lead with clarity as well. We're almost here, so finishing, should I say. So I want to talk to you about goal mapping exercise. This is the CEO goal mapping exercise that I'd love for you to be a part of. And that is that you are able to give yourself 5 days. Don't be hard on yourself. Give yourself 5 days and create a clear, actionable goal map that aligns with your business vision and personal values as well. As the CEO, it's important to have that space as well. So the next thing that I want to talk to you about is that let me just move this over, that we, like I said, do day 1. You want to be able to go through that day 1, 2, and 3, and you want to break down those goals so that they are smart, measurable, achievable. For example, you want to choose one to two key goals for each priority. Specific, what exactly will you accomplish? Measurable, how will you track progress? Achievable, is this goal realistic? Relevant, how does this support the company's vision, for example? Time bound, by when will you achieve this? And don't be hard on yourself if you come to that level and you've studied, for example, really, really hard, and then you take the exam and you fail. So set success indicators. Define how you measure each milestone. Will it be based on metrics, client feedback, or project completion? Break it down into milestones as well. Choose 1 to 2 goals for each priority. So for each priority of these 3 goals, what you want to do is to be able to create that space so that you're able to move forward and grow the business. So like I said, you want to look at mapping out what your goals are. Like I said, there's day 1, where you're going to write a brief statement outlining where you see your business in 1 to 3 years, 5 years, for example. Consider the areas, like I said, for growth. So there's this goal 1. 2 is your priorities. Choose the top 3. And number 3, identify your obstacles. So with regards to the breaking down, you want to ensure that you broke it down 1 or 2 goals at a time. For example, like I mentioned earlier about the smart, measurable, specific, for example, achievable, the relevant, time bound. You want to divide each goal into milestones. Break them down, each goal into monthly, quarterly milestones. And for example, one goal is so if one goal is your revenue increase by 20% in a year, so the quarterly milestone might be a 5% increase, for example. So you want to set the success indicators. You want to define them to measure each milestone so you can see how much you're growing. And then you can look and think, okay, I've really come far, I've grown, look at me, I'm doing really well because I feel, happy, for example, feel very loving, for example. So, like I said, the goal will raise by 20% a year. For example, with a milestone, it could be a 5% increase. So you also need to define your measure, each milestone. So will it be based on matrix, client feedback, or project completion? I'll just go on to the next slide here. So do daily, weekly actions. Map out weekly tasks, for example, and you want to be able to do that smoothly,